This is a boat, a refugee boat. 4 years ago, I used to be on one of these boats, and now I'm talking to you on the stage, and I'm going to tell you a story. When we were on those boats, everything we had was fear. Fear of death, fear of the unknown, and fear of not seeing each other anymore. We were holding to our bags that had a bit of clothes and lots of memories, dreaming of a safe place. Luckily, I made it to the other side, and then I made it to Sweden. I arrived to Stockholm, and I was fascinated by the city, how beautiful it was. It was so nice, beautiful, colorful, calm. A bit cold though. But once I've seen the city, I gave a promise to myself that this city is going to be my city. I'm going to make a home here. It took me not a long time to get to work in one of Sweden's biggest engineering companies. I'm an engineer. Getting into this job was not an easy thing, but it wasn't so hard. And I want to share my journey with you. Usually, when people are from other countries, they think that finding a job in Sweden is mission impossible. Actually, nothing is impossible when you know how to make it. Hire me, I need a job. This is what many people who try to find a job send their CVs all around and like hoping that somebody's going to read their CV. I'm going to tell you that the world is not fair, and this thing doesn't work anymore. The world does not like desperate people, because companies, and what companies are built on growth and shared value. They want to make profit and they want to grow. And what do they need? They need people that are going to help them grow and make profit. So being desperate is not a solution. And if you look different, and if you have an Arabic name, or if you're a woman with dark skin or with a headscarf, I empathize with you. But I'm going to tell you, the world is not fair. And until each one of us take their part in making it a better place, we should be smart by hacking into systems and getting what we want. We have to know and understand the difference between wanting something and exchanging something. I'll give you an example about this. Now I'm going to pretend I'm an engineer from Syria. My name is Mohammed, and I'm sitting in an interview like this. Hi, my name is Mohammed, and I'm a mechanical engineer from Syria, and I worked for 4 years as a manager in the company, and I can do anything about mechanical engineering. We have to think about empathy. Empathy is walking in other people's shoes. And it's a smart thing to do. Now let's stand here and see what the recruiter think about Mohammed. Jaha? This is someone who calls himself an engineer, comes from a country that's not so famous of doing engineering work, and he has been a manager, and he's done mechanical engineering. He does everything. Where can I place him in my organization? With which team? I'm going to apologize to that person. And now, we're going to think a bit smarter. Hey, my name is Mohammed, And I'm a mechanical engineer who's passionate about design. I love CAD programs, and I used to work in different companies with different teams in my country. Even though the supply and the demand were not so high, but at the same time, we loved creating new things. And I've seen the products in your company, and I really like how your pipes are being designed. And I think if I would join your team, I would add some value to your team. I will learn and I will create value. You see the difference? Same person with the same capabilities. Today, this doesn't work. This thing doesn't work because we are living in a world where the media is building a huge, unpleasant picture about you and the recruiters and the companies. There are people and they watch media. So, sitting and complaining about it for all time, saying like, yeah, you know what, the system doesn't like us, I have a foreign name, blah, blah, blah. It is true. Like, it's sad, but true. But what about if we can offer something, instead of asking for something, telling, I have an apple for you. It's red, it's nice, it's mine, and I love it. People, they don't buy what you offer, they buy what you love. And I'm going to tell each one of you that each one of you has a value. First, you people are so lucky. You're alive, you can walk, and you're educated. What you miss is that you have to find what you are unique at, because this is what companies buy. You have to find your worth, and you have to admit to yourself that you're worth it. Because when your self-value is high, and when you know what you're offering, people will buy it, and you will get your job. And this is how I got my job, very quick. But the great job and fancy skiing resorts and fancy boats, they could not make me forget about this. Devastated children. When I came from the war, it took me 2 years of mind mapping and hacking and researching psychology to heal myself, to rationalize things for myself, until I became a healthy person. And I thought to myself, we have a whole generation of children. If we do not find a solution for them, who would do that? Who will have a devastated generation of people that when we go to pension, they will run the world. And I thought to myself, if I could do all those researches and heal myself, what about if I can package everything and create a sustainable solution for those kids as a first aid kit? Because no organization in the world, neither United Nations, can cover even 1% of the children in the world, displaced children. There are 25 million displaced children in the world. My idea was to create a global solution. So whenever war happens or displacement, you can deliver it as a first aid kit to those children until something happens. I quit my job, the fancy job, and I bought a car for 600 euros, named her Kate, and hit the road. I went and researched life in 13 countries. I wanted to know what connects people, and what separates people, what generates love and what generates fear. And how, if I want to make a tool for integration and for the new generation to live in peace and to be the creators of this world, it has to be global. I traveled around many countries and I was developing this tool. And then I story-told it, because this is the only way you can reach the hearts of the children, and the minds too. I was volunteering with the Red Cross, helping my fellow refugees during the refugee crisis in Europe. And I learned many things, and I was testing this tool. For me, I still think as an engineer, even though I'm an author today. After consulting many professionals in different universities and knocking many doors, because if you want to make something, you have to make it perfect, because this is your gift to the world. This is what you give to the world, and this has to remain. I story-told everything in a children's story. I call it Sarah's Journey. It's an 8-year-old girl. She's the hero. She's not a victim. She's a hero. And she will be a role model for all refugee children, to make them think that dreams make any place home, and they can create a home from wherever they land, if they have a good picture about themselves, if they have a nice self-image and good self-esteem. And look how she looks. She is not a Barbie. World has enough of Barbies who makes little girls like insecure about who they are. She's a hero by her qualities, not by her measurements. I came to Sweden and I knocked the doors of all organizations. I was like, this is the solution. Please take it. I consulted professionals. They said, like, who are you? And I thought to myself, all right, who am I? If I could make a company in Syria, I can make a company here, and I can make an organization here, and I can make things work. I put all my money in it, and I was knocking doors on different specialists. And I formed a team of specialists, 22 specialists, top talents in the world from 13 countries, and went to all refugee camps and all schools, getting children into libraries and testing this, and reading and testing. We got tremendous results. And then Swedish schools, they let us in. And we could create empathy between, not sympathy, but empathy. It's a peer-to-peer between local children and refugee children. It's when you see the value in each other. This is integration on the long term. When you can exchange things, when you give and take, it's not someone is helping someone. This is how integration would work. And last week, we were covered by BBC World, all around the world. Now we are one of the fastest growing companies in our field, and I promise we're going to be #1 in the world in some years. What I want to tell you now, everything I had in my life, from being a refugee, from being an engineer, and being an entrepreneur, and a storyteller, when I combined all these things together, I could come up with something that makes me wake up every morning at 6 o'clock, even though I sleep 4 or 5 hours, but like full of energy. What I want to do, I'm in love with what I do. And my team too. Together, we formed a new company. It's called Kidnovation. It's about kids and innovation. It's not about charity. It's about waking the potential in children. And do it through storytelling and through science. So we do, and we measure impact, we create tools, we create apps, and now we're hacking into the VR soon, and something nice is gonna happen. That is Kidnovation. I also use my experiences now as a consultant, as a cross-cultural strategist. So I work with Arbetsförmedlingen and in different companies nowadays as a consultant to make them utilize their resources into something that tangible, that work. Because if you don't have a dirty floor, you would never create a good vacuum cleaner. You need the experiences. And if there is any company or any initiative that wants to help refugees or help foreigners, you have to engage the newcomers and the foreigners in the building of your team, not in the testing. This is what Mitliv does here, and I really appreciate how their structure, that's why they're successful. What I want to share with you at the end, if you want to become an entrepreneur, or if you want to build a career and work at a company, before you go around and send your CVs and try to ask for things, look back at yourself. Find your uniqueness, scan it, ask people around you. Look at your life back, look at your life story. What made you unique? What is the thing that you're good at? Because this is what people would buy. When you find this thing, fall in love in this thing and fall in love with yourself. Thank you.